Okay, Midland Online Academy students or anybody that is absent or quarantined from a face-to-face class, if you are not coming to school in my room for Wednesday, December 2nd, 2020, these are your instructions, which you hopefully found in the attendance with this Google form that looks something like this. That's going to have this video here, except it's not this video, it's yesterday's video, because I'm still making today's video and I'll switch them out later. Anyway, as a reminder, you've got some very simple questions to answer that if you watch this video will be very easy to do. Okay, so looking at the stream at our plan for today, it says, I can summarize Jefferson's foreign policy and describe Lewis and Clark's Corps of Discovery. And most of what you're doing today is going to be independent work after we get our Jefferson notes. So coming over here, we're going to look down here at Early Republic, and we're going to open up our digital interactive notebook. And I'm going to open up the notes slideshow. So on the interactive notebook, there's two pages we're going to be worried about today. One is page 6 and the other is page 7. I'll explain page 7 in a minute. But in page 6, we need a map of the Louisiana Purchase, which we'll talk about in a minute, a picture of Thomas Jefferson, and his years in office. So in our notes, there's what Jefferson looks like. There's his years in office. And if I scroll through to my Jefferson notes, I suppose if you wanted to, you could do the whole of page 6 today, because here's both sides. You could pause and just do it all now. But I am going to go over this stuff for tomorrow's video as well. Today I'm worried about foreign policy. So foreign policy is the pink column, right? So we're going to put the pink column stuff. That's what we're going to do first. So let's start with this. Item number 1 out of 3 that go into this pink column, okay? And along the way, we're looking for answer to this question. The Barbary Coast, where Jefferson sent the Marines to fight pirates, is found in which modern country? Well, let's look at this. Jefferson gets involved in our first foreign war. So over in the Mediterranean and northern Africa, there were a group of pirates on what was called the Barbary Coast. We call them the Barbary Pirates. They were based out of the city of Tripoli, which is today in modern Libya. In order to beat these pirates, Jefferson creates an elite fighting force called the United States Marine Corps. This is the birth of the Marine Corps. So we're looking for Libya, and yes, this is the first time the U.S. Marines see action. Pause the video, type this into the pink column. Okay, so here's a map of what that looked like. The Barbary Coast really covered most of North Africa, but Libya is here next to Tunisia, Algeria, and Morocco, and it was all based here in what is today Libya. Jefferson tried to negotiate. The pirates wouldn't negotiate, so we sent in the Marines and killed all the pirates. USA. Okay, so that's that story. Number 2, the Louisiana Purchase in 1803. We bought the land from France. France and Spain had swapped this land back and forth. At this point, it belongs to France. We buy it from France. France is who we buy it from. Pause the video, type this up. Okay, now that you got that, here's a map of what that looks like. We remember this chunk of land from Texas history. Here's the modern state of Louisiana, but when we talk about the Louisiana Purchase, it contains Louisiana, Arkansas, Oklahoma, parts of Texas and New Mexico. It contains Missouri, Kansas, parts of Colorado. We get Iowa, Nebraska, parts of Wyoming. We get North and South Dakota, parts of Minnesota and Montana, and a little bitty chunk of Idaho. So that is the Louisiana Purchase. And then finally, the last one, the Embargo Act of 1807 banned importing almost all foreign goods, right? So an import or foreign good, in response to both France and England attacking our ships. So that whole thing we had with the XYZ affair with Adams, well, when Adams leaves office, the French go back to their old ways, but now the British start doing it too, because France and England are fighting a war and they both think we're helping the other side. Even though we're trying to be neutral, they both start picking on both of us. So Jefferson says, that's it, we're not doing business with either of y'all, meaning that we're now going to have to rely on the Dutch, the Germans, and the Spanish as our major trade partners instead of France and England. Pause the video and get this, and now you have all of the notes. So at this point, you should have this whole column done, a picture of the year, and a map of the Louisiana Purchase. We will do domestic policy tomorrow. But today, you're going to spend the rest of your social studies time working on Lewis and Clark. So here's how page 7 works. I want 3 pictures from the Lewis and Clark era, and I ask questions. What was the Corps of Discovery? How were their interactions with Native Americans? And who was Sacagawea? People often say Sacagawea. It's actually pronounced Sacagawea. Whatever. Those are the 3 questions you have to answer. To help you do that, there are 1, 2, 3, 4 readings that you can do. It also asks you to use the scribble tool to trace their journey. If you go to this little line and go down here to scribble, you can just randomly draw wherever, right? I'm not actually going to leave a drawing there because you're going to do this for your own. So you're going to do this page all by your lonesome. The links are here. You can use Google searches, but it's really not that hard and you can do it. So when you're done today, page 7 all the way done, page 6 mostly done. Tomorrow we will finish page 6 and we're going to talk about the first of 3 Supreme Court cases on page 10. That is where we are. That's what you need to do. If you have questions, email me. Otherwise, look for that fresh video tomorrow.